Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? Once again, your boy Neff from Nest Tech Bits. What can I say? No pleasure, no rapture, no exquisite sin better than the convenience of the modern dollar store. Man, back in the day, our little villages never had anything like that. You had home hardware, but I swear to God, you had to pay like a hobbyist price to buy anything. And then the dollar store came around, and oh man, it just changed the world. Today we're going to take a look at some of the tech that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is like Family Dollar in the U.S., and I honestly just needed to get some USB-C cables. And I'm always really leery about USB-C. I didn't even want to ever get a USB-C phone. Finally did. And the reason for that was that there were some cables or some chargers that you could get that would simply kill your phone because the pins were different. That seems to not be such a problem these days. I don't know how it isn't a problem anymore, but it's no longer a problem. So I thought I'd get some and then give them a test. Another thing I'm really happy about is Jones Soda. I've never found Jones Soda in a dollar store before. That's perfect. I love that stuff. Jones Soda is the best. A little bit of a funny side note, at the bottom of the rack for all the dollar store tech was some mouse killer. Man, I tell you, Master Splinter's hanging out in my garage, and I got to deal with him. And hopefully this stuff is good enough for Master Splinter. It looks like it's good enough for the kids, right? Kids resistant station. I'm pretty sure these are just the pucks and not the station. Warfarin. I'm pretty sure this is Warfarin. Interestingly enough, Warfarin is also used in medical applications, to thin blood. So, let's start out with the fun stuff. Make it blocks. You can make these blocks light up. Got some incandescent, or at least somewhat see-through blocks, so that we could make some interesting stuff and have them all light up, and it's good stuff. Also, we got some thumb chucks, some light-up chucks that I can try to use to see if I can bash my eye out, and then I can sue them. Actually, I'm not even sure if you can do that in Canada. I think it's mostly a United States thing. Anyways, in Canada, once you lose that kind of stuff, the free healthcare takes care of you, so that's not so bad. Really interested to see these. They are smartwatch. Well, of course, they're iPhone bracelets or protectors. I can't quite wrap my head around this because the watch is more expensive than the watch is so expensive and these cases are so cheap. There are actually people that would go to the Dollar Tree to get this kind of stuff just for a particular brand. Like, I'd understand if it was for some kind of Android, if you could use this on like a Samsung watch or something like that. But no, they're particularly for the Apple watches. And it just seems so high-end. I'm not sure. I wonder if they're just selling those just to try and see if anyone will actually buy them. One thing I always go to the Dollar Tree for is these tempered glass iPhone, what do you call these, protectors, screens, shatter-resistant screens. These are good stuff. They're a lot easier to put on than the plastic counterparts. I'll tell you what, plastic counterparts are really hard to put something on without getting a piece of dust, but these are much more forgiving. Pick some of these Rayovac batteries up, and look at this. This is definitely the cheapest. This is no-name brand type colors here. It seems so 70s. I had to pick them up just because of the colors. Look at that. They look cheap. This must be, there's no way this can be alkaline. Zinc carbon batteries. Okay. So in other words, like heavy duty as most people would call them. I should have known. These ones usually leak like crazy, but these need some 9-volt batteries just so that we can get the anti-fire. The smoke detectors work. And the fart machine. I saw this on my way out and I was like, oh, fart machine. I have got to get this thing. Yeah, check this out. Includes some batteries to replace batteries, loosen screws. Fart. Yeah, it looks like it was made particularly for this group. Now, usually this kind of stuff, it's very loud. Very loud. Look at the size of that speaker. Now, the batteries must be dead because that speaker is huge. I wonder what that is. That speaker is huge, and you think for this... You'd think it would make louder noises, so either the battery's almost dead or someone had mercy on the parents that mistakenly bought this. And who doesn't need a fart machine? Let's just go that far. Anyways, next up, the cases, the cell phone cases at these dollar stores. Well, guys, I swear to God, for $1.25. You can get these cases. I got a clear one, and I got this sexy silver one. I got some team leaders on some factory floors that got new phones without any cases. So I got them this fabulous silver case. Let's see if they'll actually use it. Or if they'll think it's too ladylike for them. Too precious. Let's see. It'll be interesting to see. Anyways, ladylike and precious. we got to get to the main reason once again that I went to the dollar store, the USBC cables. Let's break these things open. Let's take a look at what's on the inside of them and how well they do their job, shall we? C cable. Now first off, I want to autofocus is what I want to do. Now first off, there we go. I'm going to be using one of these 3-in-1 cables. This is what my camera is currently hooked up to right now. I got a brick that can actually pull off 2 amp. And this unit is charging at, well, not even 1 amp. I'm pretty sure that this unit, the IP80, doesn't exactly say how quickly it charges. So next up, let's try the dollar store e-circut USBC. It says that it can do 2.1 amps. Only one way to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, moment in truth. Pretty and flashy pink. Yeah, it did more. Maybe not a full 2 amps, but definitely did more. Then again, maybe my phone isn't exactly pulling 2 amps right now. Not bad, not bad, especially for a buck or $1.25, whatever they charge at Dollar Tree. So after doing some research, I'm really impressed to see that these e-circut dollar store USB-C chargers are actually better than Target brand name mobile wireless. Better quality, better transfer speeds, and maybe about the same charging, but geez, I'm just amazed to see that these things outperform $10 units. $1 worth of knockoff Lego looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that sparkliness. It does not go well with my background. Let's turn off the light. Okay, that is pretty cool. I gotta say, that's interesting. So with these light up Legos, you give this one piece, put it in, you turn, and once you get so far, they turn off. There we go. Otherwise, you can just press them and turn them on. That's some pretty cool stuff when it comes to playing with kids. Man, Lego is not the cheapest. I'm sure anyone who's ever bought it knows what I'm talking about. During the Lego movie, this stuff was worth so much that there are actually people in Toronto using it to launder money. I'm not even sure how that went. But it's a true story. Anyways, moving on. Next up, thumb chucks. Let's see if I can knock some of my teeth out with these. Serious question. How do they expect me to break my teeth on something so bouncy? I mean, back in my day, we had clackers, and you could really hurt yourself with those. That's what we need. We need the danger, the adventure in our toys and whatnot. So it says very clearly on the package how you're supposed to use them. You're supposed to be like it's supposed to be something like, yeah. But I mean, like, why would you use them if you can't hurt yourself with them? I don't know why kids like soft toys these days. They don't know the adventure of being able to break a tooth on them. All right, let's take a look at the cases for the Apple Watches, shall we? Still, really surprised that someone would spend so much money on a phone and not so much on a case. Okay, you know what? That's not so bad. That's not quite as cheap as I thought it would be. You know, you could probably get away with wearing one of these around one of your watches. Not bad. Okay, this one looks super cheap, but only because I got the yellow one. Let's face it, not many people actually get the yellow anything. It's not a very popular color. So I can understand why someone might get a cheap phone case, because they're subsidized and whatnot, right? Uh-oh.
There's an extra couple of pancakes up here.
Oh, right, extra pancakes. That's what I'm talking about. Anyways, yeah, phones are subsidized, right? So everyone always has extra phones, and they don't mind getting cheap cases because you can get a phone for cheap through the subsidy. But with the iWatch, I mean, those things are unbelievably expensive. You definitely don't need them. You definitely don't need them. And there's no subsidy to it. Work won't give you one. So I wonder if anyone actually buys any of these things. So this one, I can kind of see why someone would get. This one, you know what? You know, that color might match someone's 90s outfit. It might be good for, you know, $1.25 just to have something different. Me, I like to change my phone cases. Stereotypically, or like a stereotypical woman would change her purse. Huh. Okay, yeah. I see how that works. Anyways, moving on. Next up, let's take a look at the old Rayovac things. Man, back in my day, you seen a 9-volt battery, you're like, I wonder if I should put my tongue on this. Like, was there a kid who first found out or heard that you should put your tongue on these things? Let's see if it still works. Ah, it does. It still shocks the tongue. But hey, it's good stuff. Lots of fun. And it looks like a 9-volt battery. I don't know what I was expecting to see in here. Let's do a teardown. Of course, not quite loud enough to be believable, but I'm not sure. Perhaps it was engineered that way, so kids couldn't get themselves into too much trouble at church or something like that. And maybe I can try out more battery. I might actually have some of those. LR44, yeah. So one of the great things about the Dollar Tree is they always sell their own types of batteries. Unfortunately, I think those are the only ones I don't have. Yippee skippy. I love it. I should have picked another one of those things up. I have a bad habit of doing that, so not having the batteries that I need. One sec. I'm always fascinated by the way they put the buttons into different machines. And these ones are no less fascinating. Sunk right in there. And you got the capacitive bottom on the bottom of this unit. Of course, to make connection, we'll get our chip under all that goo there. Man, and the speaker in the back. That speaker is so big, I would be truly surprised if the batteries weren't just dead on or dying on these things, because it is not very loud. Oh no, don't tell. Oh wait, one more. GND, does that say ground? How are you going to ground something with batteries? Someone could answer me that question. Yeah, there it is. That's a big old speaker. It can definitely get louder than that. I mean, the G.I. Joes I used to have were definitely had bigger speakers than that. Very simple, though. I love this simple tech. I wonder if that means this thing was made in 2014. If it was made in 2014, I can understand why the batteries wouldn't work, but honestly, the cheap batteries that they generally use usually rust by then, and I'm not seeing any rust on these things, so moving on. Alright, so next up, let's take a look at the tempered glass case. I've used these before in the past, not for a while. There it is. Of course, you get a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of rub. I like to use these things on some of my redundant iPhones that have cracked cases. It helps keep them together a little bit. And you know, I probably should get some, or I probably should get one for my normal phone too. Alright, after a little bit of wax on, wax off, please peel this off before applying. I recommend you put these on, is you keep an eye at the top and the bottom. I prefer watching the bottom around the battery. I'll let it down on one side first. Oh, I'm off by a little bit. Maybe I can push it over. No! Ah! Yeah, I knew if I was going to be recording this, I wouldn't do a very good job. There are some of those things that if somebody's watching you, you just can't do it. Oh, I've only ever screwed this up once. And there. And of course, it's not going to look beautiful and immaculate with that cracked stuff underneath. No, I ended up did. It's not a really big deal. Let me see how well I can get this thing on. Alright, so that was definitely the worst job I've ever done putting one of these on. But at least I made it work. A little bit of crud on there. You know what, I'm not even going to worry about that because I'm going to only be using this for tests and whatnot. But when the unit's on, you hardly see the air bubbles. When it's off, you kind of see them. You kind of see them. But still, these screen protectors, if you can put them on, they're great for new phones. And they're great for used phones that have cracks, and if you want to keep them from falling apart a little better, it's good for that too. Next up, let's talk cases. I love me some frickin' good phone cases for very little money. If it's iPhone 7 and 8, it's good that they finally got these new cases because people keep going through the standard ones and just ripping them off the card and just leaving the pieces behind. But yeah, they're not too bad. They're not too bad. The feeling of them for $1.25 is definitely worth them. If you can find a clear case, you definitely want to go with it. But for the most part, they're all girly. For the most part, most of them are girly. I suppose they're for people who like to switch cases up a lot like me. And it's very nice for that. Very nice. I got to say, I'm really happy with all the crud that I got. And I got to put it all back together and find a place for it in the house and not just put it in a pile and let it all pile up to the height that it'll knock over and destroy me instantly, you know, that kind of thing. And I do believe that's it from me. That's from Nest Tech. But ladies and gentlemen, like and subscribe if you could. It definitely helped me out. And have a good one. Take care of each other, too. Bye-bye, folks.